कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Technology is changing. We're now more connected with our friends and family than ever before. We have more access to information now and better healthcare infrastructure. I know all this because I'm a student of science. We also have more choices when it comes to what food we eat, what phone we buy, and what car we drive. The new Volvo XC40 Recharge is an all-electric car based on Volvo's award-winning compact luxury SUV, the XC40, and it gives you the best electric experience without any compromises. The XC40 Recharge brings a whole new meaning to innovation, performance, and sustainability through a 400 bhp engine, a range of almost 400 kilometers, and use of sustainable materials in both the interior and exterior of the car. The XC40 Recharge is Volvo's most inspiring and caring compact luxury SUV yet. Get a test drive now at a Volvo showroom next to you. The XC40. The XC40.
Yeah, I'm actually feeling exactly like the audience feels every day, extremely disappointed. And that's because it's time to own up. We started late, obviously, and that's because of tech issues on our end here. And someone has to take the blame. It's time that a man becomes a man, puts his hand up and says, look, it's my fault. So I really like the tech team to put the hand up and say it's their fault because it can't be mine. I have no idea what went wrong. In fact, even the camera is not being put properly. But since I'm not known as Malaika Arora Khan anymore, I'm okay. If that may not happen, if the visual keeps shifting from time to time, remember, it's not my fault. It's the wind outside. Monsoon is happening as we speak. In fact, this might be fun. Everybody do the same thing. You know, it's like
yeah, sure. I mean, why not? At this point, why not just ruin it all? You know?
Disco station, disco.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's right.
Okay. Regardless of however we are beginning and all the tech problems that we've had, I am very happy today because for the first time, you are late. Even though you're joining from home, you are late, and we all get to now forever hold this over you that you were late.
Wait. I'll come back to that. First, I'm going to lie on this show, use the dictionary. When people say they don't read anymore and all that, I'm going to use it for what it should be used for, which is to sit down. Thereby, I've solved my fail issue.
For our audio listeners, Cyrus, his head was cut off in the video frame. And just to prop himself up, he used an actual Oxford dictionary, the old thick ones, not the pocket ones.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it has slightly helped.
Yeah.
Dictionary finally useful. Yes, you get it.
All good. All good. But
I would just like to mention that there is a new tradition which is being established. People are asking me why I'm not coming on more. And the answer is every time I come on, we seem to have tech difficulties.
Yes, man.
Like without
all
exception.
Days, yeah.
Without exception. Every single time I've been on recently, there is something going wrong with the tech.
Something, man. Wow.
You're like an unlucky pilot, you know, when the
I know.
same guy flying, you know, why.
Yeah.
But we made a huge mistake. Second huge mistake. First, tech issues, which nobody understands. And second one is we forgot to mention the two lovely people who have supported us and been pillars for the last weeks or so. And that's Cock and Bull is presented by Volvo Cars India with pet care partner Heads Up for Tails. Thank you both. They were waiting patiently from 9:59, wondering what happened. Put their money on the table, expect to show. So fair enough. That being done, how come we only three again? No four? Continuing with the three-man theory.
You got tier 1 panel, Cyrus. What are you talking about? You're not happy with the two of us?
We could well have been two.
The old gang is back together, as they say.
We could have been two. So, you know, people really think the reception is hitting the podcast industry. Yes. Yeah. All right. So I'm ready for action.
Two days of sad tech fails on your side, Cyrus. Yesterday, there was a thing where your charger went off, like the charge on your laptop went off or something.
No, that is Maya's. That was, hello. Firstly,
it's never your fault. I love that it's never your fault.
Okay, let me lay back. I've not been using that for whatever reason or not, but it just froze. Okay, it was working fine when I tried it at 5 for 1 minute, and then I left it there. And then 5:52, as I was joining in, it just froze. I called Maya. Maya just said it's frozen, and walked out of the room and left me like that. It was like in the market, you know, and not realizing you hadn't put on your clothes. And I didn't know what to do. And then she comes back and brings the other comp, and so we started the show with her comp. But her comp she's just done tuitions for 2 hours. So there was no charger, and the charger doesn't fit in that. Oh my God, you want to hear all this?
Yeah. No, I love this
because, dude, you're saying so much stuff, but none of it is actually coherent. So it's amazing to listen to you.
Exactly. I'm not understanding anything.
I
All
am
I
giving you
understand is
when
during the 1 hour of your live stream, all the devices in the house have to be ready. Oh, Cyrus might need my device, my laptop, my phone at some point.
What you're not understanding is I'm giving you, and some of our listeners are from the same generation as me, 80s, 90s generation, trying to cope with the situation on the spot. So now we're looking for how to fit a plug into it without that, what's that thing called, that roundy thing we use, where you put the plug in and the extension cord, etc. So that, when it doesn't, so you have an all-purpose kind of roundy thingy where you can put the plug in.
I'm sorry, you're a year and a half older than me. Like a year and a half older than me. Please, come on.
Look, we managed. We swung it last night. It wasn't a big problem.
And both of you are younger than my father, who is way better at tech even than me. So there's no excuse.
How much will he charge to be in the show on Thursday evening? Just that much. I'm trying to come to the video for the rest of the days. Yeah. Well, I do have a personal tech assistant, and unfortunately, I just realized he's 6 years older than me. So that didn't work. No, only Silverie, that is the right one. I was about to shout Maya, but I don't want to upset anybody's feelings, so I can say whatever she's efficient. I just have to take the disdain and contempt and a few. But she apologized. I got a message late night saying, "Dad, I'm sorry I shouted at you." So I mean, there's hope.
Of
course, I'm sure you guys will say, "Shout more, shout more."
That's great. But she could have just come and said sorry to you. From the next room, she could have to text you at night.
No, I think people reflect in the night when the day is over and all that, and you feel bad about what you've done sometimes, especially if you're a closer. And so she just decided at about 11:19, which is way past my bedtime, to send a message. So I got in at 4:42 in the morning. My Patanjali products are up early morning, and boom, boom. So, but I got to tell you, I still have that anxiety and fear from day one whenever I'm doing my own, the PC is in my hands, so to speak. Office, actually, I was quite cool because we were doing well for a long time. But then something happened a month back, and we called your guy, Amit, and your guy came here, and he did something. The file had got corrupted, I think, I can't remember exactly. And he said it was okay, but we haven't used it since then. And this audio thingy, God knows.
No, so it probably could be that. I mean, basically, it could be the audio connects are not working correctly, because it seemed like the power was coming on, but it wasn't connecting to the sound card appropriately, which I'm again doing gobbledygook for your benefit.
May I just, as a lawyer, as son of 3 generations of lawyer, my great grandfather actually, let me just tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, if you can see it, it's an audio podcast personality. It's the headphones I'm holding in my hands, the equipment, the laptop, the attached camera, the stand, my glasses, everything comes from IBM. Okay, so a bad carpenter can only blame the guy who sent the tools. Let's just open about this. I mean, what can I do? I do what I can.
I love this.
Silverie, say sorry for this. It's not right for me to tell Amit. He's senior here, so I'll let him go. But you better take one for the team.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. It's all my fault. I went there in the morning and sabotaged Cyrus's and audio equipment and what have you. Samir Kolpekwar has said, how can Cyrus drive cars yet struggle with laptops?
Volvo! That's a mention to you. Volvo Cars India.
That's so easy to drive. Even Cyrus can do it.
Vikram is saying terrible Mike Cyrus.
Yeah, exactly.
No shit, man. That's why we're late, dude. I'm sorry, Vikram, but that's why we're late.
No, I think he didn't exactly explain.
Vikram, put this far ass. There's no freaking mic.
Mike.
This is just a knob now. The old fashioned, like a stage performance. So what's happening here is you two guys are in the 2022 year. I'm in 1983. India's won the World Cup, and I'm cheering. I'm at the back somewhere in Lords, screaming and shouting, Hindustan Zindabad, and you guys are doing nothing. We'll see how the streams merge at some point.
But Cyrus, talking about those tech fails, it leads us very greatly into our first topic, very smoothly into our first topic, which is the ultimate tech fail in history, Edward Snowden's, right? If you guys remember Edward Snowden.
Of course.
He had leaked NSA secrets to the United States and the world about how the NSA was spying on their own citizens and other foreign nationals, etc., etc. he has now been given Russian citizenship, like official Russian citizen. He is now,
and in the same apartment as the martial artist Steven Seagal. So they are in the same apartment block. All the great Americans who descended into Moscow.
My question is, did they give him citizenship so that they can send him to war against Ukraine?
So apparently, yeah, his lawyer, Edward Snowden's lawyer, at least says he's not eligible for that.
Do you think Putin cares about eligibility?
Yeah, dude, they are taking everyone right now to all reservists, like people who have already retired are back in the force. 68-year-old diabetic people and all are back.
Exactly, they're doing that kind of nonsense.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
People are, they're fleeing the country. People are like, there are crowds at the borders to Georgia and other countries and all.
No, it's insane what's going on in Russia right now. I mean, the
reservist is a very nice term, actually. It means nothing.
That's what they're calling them.
Because basically, even in India, ultimately, if they just say the reserve, you go down the ladder, ultimately it's the guy, the panwala, you pick him up, you give him a gun, you tell him to walk straight. So I think we're all entitled to it at some point. I'm very worried about this. So please keep your medical certificate ready. Right? That's the only way they cannot send you.
Yeah. So but talking about these, so they want to recruit 300,000 of these soldiers from citizens, from regular citizens. That's what they want. They're being mobilized to fight in the Ukraine war. Okay, some of the soldiers though, who are already on the front lines, soldiers and mercenaries that Russia hires to fight on the front lines, have come out with statements to the media. Okay, like where the reporters on the front lines will like talk to them. Okay, well, what do you think about this war and all? And what do you think about these new 300,000 people who are coming in? So these are the quotes from some of these soldiers that I have in front of me. Okay, I'm going to read them out. A soldier named Russian soldiers. The Russian soldiers.
No, but you have to read them in Russian. And if you can't do a Russian accent, then call
man, I'll be ruining the impact of them if I read them in Russian.
I don't care about the sensitivity here. I need
okay, wow. Okay, if you don't care about the impact, okay, fine. I'm just extremely disrespectful though, but okay. Kyrilo, a professional Russian soldier, says, to be honest, they will all die there in Ukraine. That's terrible. That's terrible. Sorry.
Okay.
So he says, to be honest, they will all die there in Ukraine. He's talking about these 300,000 recruited soldiers because they will get no training and all. He says, they're going to get hurt and die. This is not a trained army. For example, I have been serving on a contract for a long time and fought my way to the front and still turned out to be not ready. On the very first day, I realized that this was the biggest mistake of my life. He says. Another one, a mercenary by the name of Anatoly, says, I don't understand what this crowd will do there. If us professionals were fucked up there, then what would happen to them? The best case scenario, they will remain in the reserves in the rare in Donbass is the place. The worst case scenario is they will die violently. Just two options.
But you realize that
these are very crazy.
The moment you go back to World War II, and of course examples before that, the moment you go for reservists or as they did the youth wing of the Nazi army, the 12-year-olds, etc.
Yeah, you're already panicking.
That you send to your own people that you're losing. That you're grasping at straws. It's a very strange message to send because people start thinking, what the hell? Why are they calling us up? Was it supposed to be a piece of cake? Huge country, small country.
But Putin has generally got a pretty strong control on things, right? But the amount of social media memes and stuff like that, which are coming out of Russia right now, are and in Russian about basically this whole thing, right? That the fact that they're drafting people again, right? Basically just pressing people into the army for all intents and purposes again at this point in time is it. So one is, I mean, like, I don't remember. I thought that we were done with that as a world, right? And again, the idea that we're forcing people to fight wars is just insane.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's very scary.
But the thing is, the problem with this is like being drunk. You just can't stop, right? Because he thought it would end fast. This is what I'm surmising from my medical knowledge, which is very vast. And he realized immediately that, now I'm stuck. My foot's in the mud and I just have to keep going. So by the keep going method, just getting worse and worse. And then the whole situation, firstly, human casualties don't get into. Loss to life, economy, all that. Let's not even get into that. But he looks like a guy without a plan. And all this big talk about how efficient the Russians are and how efficient he is and how clinical he is, that's now suddenly something that you got to look at from another perspective altogether.
No, but that was always internal propaganda, right? I don't think anybody ever thought the Russian government and Russian
Putin's clinical efficiency, KGB, the head, whatever, gets things done. People
head of the judo
I
academy.
feel like that perception is very, very old. I feel like for the last 15 years, the perception of Russia and Putin has been a land of autocrats where, you're living in a medieval kingdom, just with modern technology. Like, that's the perception I've had for Russia for the longest time, which is why.
But
Sorry.
you could also, maybe you have an American skew to it. Could that be a possibility?
I don't think so. I think this feels. It could be. I mean, like, I don't know.
Violently anti-Russia. You're right.
I mean, yeah, it's by default, right? You have to be kind of.
Why am I anti-Russia? I'm anti-dictator.
It's the Cold War never ended for Amit.
Horrible thing to say is, the horrible thing to say is that this is Ukraine becomes their Afghanistan in a sense, because it's like, now what do we do? There's no exit.
You mean like Afghanistan was their Afghanistan?
Was exactly, yeah. Well, so you can call it double Afghanistan. Fair enough. Because initially it was their Afghanistan, became America's Afghanistan. Just because I stood up on the deck, he won't let me off the hook. But really, I think it's like egg on the face after some time, because he was supposed to finish this talk in a couple of weeks and straighten it out, change the borders, take 1/3 of that country and move on with life. But nothing like that is happening. These guys it's like asterisks and obliques.
I was watching.
Holding out against the moment.
I was watching this Joe Rogan video with comedian Dave Smith. Dave Smith understands politics a lot and he talks about it a lot in his stand-up also. But he is able to break down this Russia-Ukraine thing in a way that I've never heard broken down in very simple terms. So he said that America for sure is part of being an aggressor also to this. For sure, like when the Soviet Union broke down, I think it was 1969 or something, 1970 early.
1990, dude. What are you
1990?
dude?
Okay, whatever. Yeah, I've never dates. I'm good at locations. Never dates. Yeah.
Can I quickly go to reassign my camera while you do all that? Because you're still in 1969. Yeah.
Well, sorry. In 1990 when they broke down, the agreement was that the NATO would not move past Germany on the map. And more towards Russia, because then Russia can start seeing that as a point of aggression. But they still did start doing that gradually. Every presidency has moved it, have added more countries closer to Russia, to NATO, and that has kind of led to this also. Like, so they're definitely part of being
all that is there. But I think it's pretty clear that basically because they have a strong 1/3 or 25% Russian-speaking population on one front, I mean, just wants to take over that whole area. Because, look, we've divided this whole world strangely. I don't want to take Russia's side, but if you look at any part of the world, you go back to the Sudeten land also, where you have people who are ethnically from the other side, it's a really difficult one to explain, because they're camped in the middle. Who's made up these barriers and boundaries? It's not like it's all porous in any case, and people are mixed. So you have a fringe from this side crossing to that side, who are now with that side, but may want to come back to this side because they culturally feel stronger with this side. There's no end to it. I live in Balba Hill, but Amit is in Varkeshwar. We don't want anyone else to come to our area. I don't know why I have to bring that up, but put it out there.
Hey, everything comes back there.
Yeah. If you're a politician, especially, go to Navi Mumbai and start there. Leave us the hell alone. Okay? Yeah.
Now, do you guys ever think about how great the houses are in Navi Mumbai, though? Like
all the time.
I can't tell you. I don't know hardly if somebody can help me with Wi-Fi and tech. I'll go and see a big house in Navi Mumbai forever. But I'm so insecure, as you can see. There's nothing.
No, I think about it all the time. I look at the houses that people have over there. And
absolutely. They're living the life, though they have to travel a little bit extra.
No, but again, I think the way you do it is that you do Navi Mumbai if you can work out in Navi Mumbai, right? If you have to do the up and down, you can't do that.
Let's call a spade here. When they built that whole area and they built the whole parliament in that area and everything else, they've got bungalows galore. Even non-cabinet ministers will get bungalows. But they will not go. They want to stay here, but there are not enough bungalows for them. They fight. And despite fighting for whatever little property they have left in South Mumbai, they leave Varsha open because they're worried that it's a curse. So our chief minister's spot remains a white elephant. Nobody wants to go there because they lose their ministry ministership. So there are two houses, one being just a white elephant. Okay, I can't take this anymore. I have to remove it. The buttons are paining me.
Talking about land, though, I also found out like a very crazy fact about Mumbai. That the Godrej family in Mumbai, because of the land that they own in Vikhroli side and all, that because of that, they are the largest single individual land owner in all of Bombay. I did not know this. It blew my mind. Like this Godrej.
Not only that,
that's crazy. How much money they have is insane because of
no member of the Godrej family has to worry about having white hair, because they have more Godrej hair dye than anybody else. Wherever you go, you get it. Put your hand there and do it.
Again, no one's as fast as you, man, Cyrus.
I think the Parsi Panchayat owns a lot of property as well. I would love to see how much theirs comes to, because they're huge. Because it's a minority, it's such a small community, they really own a lot of property.
Yeah.
Okay, don't bring this up, otherwise people will be at our doors. All the great and good.
Well,
Really
your
so
doors, not mine. I don't think they care about
Oh,
what I say.
I live in one non-Wi-Fi infested small area. Wherever I go, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no tech, nothing, no machine work. Anyway, yeah.
All right, fair.
Okay.
All right,
We have
next up. Yeah, next up we have so basically in the University of North Carolina, they recently detained and handcuffed a Sikh student because he was carrying a kirpan, and they didn't know what a kirpan was. They thought it was just a knife that the person is carrying, and so they detained him. But then, since then, they have apologized for doing so, and the student had to release a video. And because of the virality, he feels that he got an apology at all. Otherwise, he would have still been in trouble to some
See,
regard.
something good coming out of the woke culture. The woke culture
Yeah.
caused the apology. Otherwise, that wouldn't have happened for sure.
Can I take a slightly counter view here? I think the student's wrong.
Can't carry a kirpan.
You can't carry a fucking dagger. You got to seal that shit up.
It was sealed.
No, you got to lock it. You can't basically have it open.
No, it was
What's
like,
it? What's it?
inside
No,
the
no,
scabbard
So
thing,
you
know
have
what
to make it so that there is it's a ceremonial
Silvery
dagger.
inside the scabbard is not
So
sealed. That's like seeing the bullets in the
Yeah.
gun. It's not outside.
Yeah, that's not
But
sealed.
I don't know if it was, but he said the big thing is not taking out of the Mia. He kept saying.
No, but it is not.
So-
But that doesn't matter. That means that you're not pulling a sword. Yeah, no shit, you're not pulling a sword. You better not pull a fucking sword.
Yeah.
Before
Uh,
9/11, you may, I don't know, I can't remember. I think kukris were also allowed because all the martial races would be, serious about it. Gurkhas and Gurkhas, the Sikhs. But I think after that, the world has just said no to everything. I can't take shampoo. I can't take deodorant with sprays. So I think chances of a knife going on here are very, very difficult. But that guy is really flexible. If he says no to the perfume and the shampoo and says okay to the knife, I mean, really, that's an airline I want to travel on.
Yeah.
No, again, I have a lot of friends who are Sikh, right? And some of them are more observant than others. Some of them carry this kind of thing. But it's you have to be respectful of the laws there are. Somebody saying that guns are okay and daggers are not.
But
Guns are not okay either in these cases. You're not allowed to carry a gun on campus.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you have to. We live in a modern world which has rules which are there for safety of people. While I mean, like, I have no,
guns. In some guns are allowed with
not on
license.
campus.
Not on campus.
Not on most campuses.
Students can't take guns and all that.
Not on most campuses.
But
I
are
mean,
there people with guns on
campus
campus?
police maybe can have guns at most.
And the
right?
teachers for their own
Some
protection.
teachers now,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm guessing from what I understood of this story, this is he tried to take it into a college into a college college building, is what my understanding
Yeah, correct.
was.
He was on campus with it.
You are not allowed to take a gun into a college building. I don't know any college is going to allow.
He was taking it into a class.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I don't think that you're allowed. I'm pretty sure you can't take a.
So if he raised his hand with the kirpan like that, then the teacher would be like, "Okay, you answer it for sure." Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, so that's a little dangerous. Knife wielding guy. I mean, in a common place.
I mean, again, I understand you want to be respectful of religion and what have you. Then, like, if you're carrying a ceremonial dagger, have it so blunt that it can't, like, it has no cutting edge, it has no stabbing
So
edge.
that's usually how these kirpans are.
No,
Right?
I think that if that were the case, nobody would have stopped him.
I mean, if they allow that, then there'll be no end to it. Now, other people will start finding the same reason
Sure.
to say that this weapon is actually a blunt object; it can't hurt you. But they are weapons of sorts.
Yeah.
So that's a gray area. I don't think you should do that.
I'm comfortable with the idea of saying that you're not supposed to carry weapons into a college campus. I'm very comfortable saying that. Ceremonial or unceremonial, I feel like this is a place, we have these are places where mass shootings happen, man. I mean, like, I'm very comfortable. Mass shootings, mass stabbings, all this shit happens at these places. I'm very comfortable saying that they shouldn't be allowed. Again, it's because it's the private person saying that.
How is it on Indian campuses though?
Indian campus.
Like,
In Mumbai.
Indian campus, they'll do whatever they want to,
Yeah.
No, like in the sense, like, can our students take in a kirpan to school?
I do not know the answer to that, but
I don't know the answer.
In
to that.
some colleges, they may be allowed. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think in Punjab it must be allowed, right?
But you have to be very
Makes sense.
careful. In Indian campuses, it's a political activity. Okay, where the student politics is going on, that's where all the fighting and violence takes place. But if you stay with the drama group, like where I used to go and all that, it's all good. Most people there are not physically aggressive. They shout loudly, but from far. So it's a bit like people on the panel. We should be safe. Yeah. But we are very no, our youth politics is very strong in colleges. Have you ever been part of that? I've been in Banaras Hindu University where stabbing took place. We went there to shoot for MTV. And then suddenly a stabbing took place. They just took us out of the university fast. What was the stabbing? One ABVP or whatever guy was one Congress guy, just starting out. And they got into a fight and became aggressive. And then goons came and they started fighting amongst themselves. And next thing you know, somebody got stabbed. In all that, we don't know who's the victim and what really happened. But apparently, it's slightly commonplace. That's the sad part when it comes to student elections and pushing their dog ahead in the fight, which they do all the time.
Yeah.
So be careful, Silverie, when you return to college. I'm just warning you. You look like a face of one of these leaders. I see you and I see a leader.
Okay,
you don't want to guys who just picks fights and causes trouble. And please don't do that. Don't ever.
Okay,
do that.
I'll try not to. Yes.
Yeah.
I do have the face of a riot inciter. Yes, you're right.
And you can cause trouble. That's fine, but make sure you have your bodyguard with you. And by bodyguard, I mean Abbas.
Sparsh.
Right?
Oh, I thought.
He's underage even for India.
He's my artistic little bodyguard.
Yeah.
With long
With the hair.
Yeah, with the hair and all. Yeah. Dude, every time you put a camera on Sparsh, he touches his hair, right? That's the thing. Like, by default, he literally can't help it. He can't help it. Now I said it, now he won't.
If Sparsh goes the Amit way, he's finished. All his body language management is gone. And every birthday he'll buy wigs, feeling bad for him. Really. Sparsh, is there balding in your family?
Sparsh, is there balding in your family?
No.
He's saying no. He'll start it as Sparsh.
He has no idea.
Yeah.
He has no idea
Because
where it comes from. 99% from the mother's male side. He has no idea. It takes one uncle. He doesn't be your
That's
mama.
true. Like a distant relative. Yeah.
Cousin of that mama. He can get that gene. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm writing him off. Enjoy the hair while it lasts. Yeah. His hair is like my sound. It comes and goes. Yeah.
Cyrus, you talk about hair so much, like, and balding and all. Is that like a natural concern you've had? That you
No, I'll tell you, my boys used to boys in my class, we used to make fun of each other, right? Because of our fathers and stuff. One of the running gags was, Vikram, you're going bald because Chandur uncle is gone bald. Okay, Cyrus, you're going bald because Farooq uncle is bald. And I can't tell you, we had no knowledge. All of us with the bald fathers, we all have hair. I mean, not great hair, but we still have hair. And the ones who are making fun of us, they don't have hair. So what do you do? Escape of left field, that basically the hair gene very often comes from the mother's male side. So you can't look at your father and just, all the kids pulling your leg. So to say 5-6 of us with the baldy fathers, and the 5-6 of them who had fathers with proper hair, and it's completely reverse. It's almost to a bad reverse. One of the funniest things. And life is really funny that way. So be very careful. And they used to pull my leg. I can't tell you. Hey, brocha, social, next year possibly baal nahi hoga. And then we used to carry his comb in the back pocket. So we sort of share that one comb. It is a bit of a, one of those tough boys with a comb in the back pocket. I don't know if you guys ever did that. Yeah. So he'd flick the hair. And I must
when I had a comb, I had that switch comb, right? Like the switch.
Oh, man, it's so sweet.
It was the 80s, dude. That's
what
you had to have.
You don't know flick? How can you not know the flick?
This flick.
Yeah, the flick and then the flick.
Like the knife flick.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's a very masculine move, man. It's like attack and attack. And lots of guys did that, man.
Yeah.
So they put each other's leg up. That's why I talk about balding all the time, because I almost feel like I won a match. It's not like I have lots of hair now, but I outlived a lot of these guys in terms of scam. And it's amazing. I don't take the names of the guys who fallen on the wayside. It's so funny in the irony. It's like karma coming to bite you. Be really careful. Please know where it comes from. You just look at a father and son and say, boom. It's not that simple. Amit lost his head earlier, so it's a different story altogether. I remember the guys who basically lose it after 30 and before 40, 45. That period. Because you have no idea at 17, 18. 17, 18, they have good clue. It starts receding in the late 20s and then it starts going. That's most people.
So I had inevitability on my side, right? Both grandparents totally bald, father totally bald, uncles on mother's side and father's side totally bald. There was just no chance of long-term hair. It was just absolutely out of the question, right? And so you're right. I knew this was coming from the minute. I did not know from 16. I knew it was coming. But Yeah, I mean, like, I know of people who have lost their hairs in their 30s and stuff like that. These are the folks who go for the surgeries and try and kind of like, figure out ways to solve this and all that. I never gave a fuck because I was like, at 18, I knew this was not there. I had no money at 18, so I had no choice but to let it fall.
You made peace with it. You're lucky that way. It's like people are comfortable with whoever they are in life, etc. There's some people are so complex about it, and then they don't escape it. Like we discussed this before. Then some guys, you can talk about this. It became more. You could abuse the religion and stuff, or their parents around who probably could not bring up balding. It just got to them. And these are close friends I'm talking about, more than one. So I'm going to tell you, balding is a huge subject. Sorry, Amit, that you have to be here next time. We'll save it for Abbas. He's a little touchy.
I have a very
pressing
question to Amit.
Sorry, what?
I have a very pressing question to you, though.
Yes, please.
Like, I'm sure everyone want to know, if you're bald, how long would a shampoo bottle last?
Like a year.
Like a full year, just with one shampoo bottle.
Well, probably size. Even more than that. I don't. I'm just trying to remember. I could go to Amazon and find out for sure.
Okay.
But I'm guessing that at least a year.
Oh.
But it's like half a pump, right? It's half a pump.
Exactly.
And I mostly use it for my beard more than my hair.
Okay.
So.
Wow.
Nice. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
I mean,
I'm sure everyone want to know that.
Sad or that's a brilliant story. It's
that's. Yeah, it's kind of both.
When you go to the old days before online, when you went to the shop and said, "Sir, mujhe shampoo chahiye," I can imagine the guy going, "Right, okay."
That's why Amazon. Yeah, that's why I read Amazon.
Yeah,
all right, it's time for our halftime break, and we'll be right back after these words from Amit. Wow. Take it away.
Hello. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Drives, Cyrus is joined by Puneet K. Goyal. Puneet is the co-founder of Blue Smart, India's first all-electric ride-hailing service. Driving around the city in the Volvo XC40 Recharge, Cyrus and Puneet talk about how the taxi service sector around the globe is adapting to electric vehicles. Don't forget to check out the video edition of this episode on the Cyrus Says YouTube channel, and there are some really funny bits over here, especially pay attention to what happens when they hit the toll plaza. On Postcard from Nowhere's Ireland Untraveled series, Utsav explores foghorns, their colonial connection, and the X Club, a not-so-secret scientific organization. On Credit Smart with Sybil, Anupam, and Sujata decode some of the factors that might hinder a good credit score and help you arrive at solutions. On Storytellers and Story Sellers, Vineet is joined by travel vlogger MSK, and they talk about how his fear of the camera actually helped his vlogging career. And on The Longest Constitution, Priya talks about slum eviction as well how the use of contempt of court has crippled freedom of expression over the years. Once again, I'd like to remind you all, don't forget to visit our merch store. It's on ivmpodcast.com. We have a link to the store. It'll take you to our partner's website, beyondfollow.com, and you can go directly beyondfollow.com/IVM. Also, do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Please do spread the word about this show or any of the other shows that you are listening to. You can do this by telling a friend, because word of mouth is helpful, or rate or review these shows wherever you're listening to them. That is also really helpful to us. And just a reminder, a number of our shows are available on YouTube as full video podcasts. Do check those out as well. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week: Bumble, Volvo XC40 Recharge, Heads Up for Tails, HDFC Mutual Fund, and TransUnion Civil. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Hello there, I'm Cyrus Brocha and I love traveling with my dogs, all my millions of dogs. Okay, just a couple of dogs that stay with me. We try to take them along with us as much as possible, but it's not always easy, especially if you're going to a place with a drastically different climate. That's why I always turn up to Heads Up for Tails, because they do the best winter wear for our little doggos, which has made taking them to colder places a lot easier. Some of my favorites from this collection include the HUFT Cozy Pupper Reversible Dog Jacket and the HUFT Cable Knit Dog Sweater, both of which are made with super comfortable materials and make our dogs feel extremely cozy. I'd highly recommend trying these out, guys. Just visit www.headsupfortails.com or visit the Heads Up for Tails store for all your pet care needs and to get the best treats, toys, clothes, and more for your little fur babies today. Cool.
Share it. Hello. Aisha, I want you not to interrupt the podcast ever again.
Clearly not in the room right now. I did a little research in the break. The last time I ordered shampoo was exactly 1 year ago, September 27, 2021.
Oh, so I was a reminder. Time to order a new.
No, it's not. It's still fine. There's still plenty.
Wow.
It's more than a year.
One shampoo per year. Now begs the question: what about conditioner?
It's beyond a
It's
year
beyond
now.
a year. There's still a bunch of it in there. It's 2-in-1, dude. Head shoulder shampoo cum conditioner, Head and Shoulders.
Wow.
Yes.
You
Might
don't have
as
to
well.
worry about all the parabens free, sulfates free shampoos and all that.
No, I don't
But
pay
Amit,
that.
when you travel wherever you go, once in a while, you're going to the States or whatever, at the hotels, you should just request them to give you the small bottles because I think that's sufficient now. You don't really need to go and get the big one and wonder
No, so
why it's too late.
I do have a small travel bottle, like, that really tiny kind of like whatever, 100 milliliter or whatever. I have a travel bottle for that. But this is the one that's in the shower and it's still there. So, hey.
Do you ever look at the labels and say, I hope one of them says like grow again? You know,
Man, yeah. That's good,
somebody asked me if I wanted to, right? I mean, like, do I want to get surgery, like, the hair enhancement surgery? And I just thought about it. I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't want it. I'm good with this. I like the no maintenance. I don't have to worry about going for a haircut every 2 weeks.
And now I think everyone's used to seeing you like this.
Yeah.
Now it would be weird if you
what, what about the
I know.
doors that open for him because he looks like a certain political figure apparently, and which carries a lot of influence.
That
and
is
weight
also
in
true.
foreign context. You put a wig on him and he look like just another guy from Balkesh. So we don't want that.
Yeah, you see some of those wigs though, right? They clearly look like wigs. Where they're like plastered on, they don't move a lot at all in the wind.
Again, our generation guys and before just don't get it. They don't understand the world has moved forward, and they look like they're in a 70s Hindi film. They're just stupid. It looks like a coconut that's been crushed and put in the back of their head. It's just stupid after some time.
So wigs look terrible, but I mean, like the new surgeries, dude, you can't tell.
No, that's
man.
different.
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
That costs
That
too
Elon
much
Musk
money.
surgery was great. That Elon Musk surgery was excellent.
Okay. I didn't.
Oh, you
know.
haven't seen
I'm
photos
not-
of him
I
before
don't.
the
Elon Musk at
good
this
hair.
point has become like kind of. I see anything about Elon Musk and I'm just like, okay, let's
I'll
go.
tell you why. You're a patriot and you support Gautam Adani. So the moment
Yeah.
you hear number one is
Yeah.
there, number two
But
is
he's
there,
also
number two, you want
but
to
he's
go
also an
ahead. I
American.
respect that.
Ooh.
You're also
What?
an American, right?
Yeah, I am. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, it's
So
just
he
like.
can-
He's
I mean, like,
American, but by descent he's Indian, bro. So come on.
Okay, like that. Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Have you
So
seen
can
the movie
talk about
Filmi
both
Dil,
billionaires, you know?
Hindustani? I mean, that explains it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just I'm just like, he's a very smart guy. He's done a bunch of really cool shit, but at this point he's
Gautam?
just trolling the world.
Yeah.
And so I mean,
that is
like,
true.
I don't feel like engaging too deeply with that.
But yeah, Gautam Adani had reached number 2 and now he's
I
down
know.
to again number 3.
He is
And I'll
also
tell you,
trolling the
Gautam
world.
But he's
Adani, when he
also-
talks,
Yeah.
doesn't have that. There's a certain arrogance to Elon Musk where he tries to talk in this very glib but offhanded fashion. But it's like an act to be offhanded. At least that's the way I see it. It irritates me after sometimes. Like, I will show you how easygoing I am about this answer.
Yeah.
He's always like laid back in a laid back, artificial way for me, and that irritates me after some time. While Gautam is spot on. Gautam Adani, he's never changed since school days. I have to tell you. By the way, lots of hair there. Okay, all good. All
Wait, you knew him in school?
No. What am I
Listen, what am I supposed to what am I supposed to? You went to fucking cathedral, man. What am I supposed to make it? All kinds of people went to cathedral.
I would be at Navashiva running a pot or something. I'd have a proper job. My dad would write me an essay. Yes, my dad has a job. You know what I mean? No.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But just
Alright.
one last thing about the hair thing, you brought it up, and I'm fascinated growing up when we went to this hair phase, all of us as late teenagers, etc. This thing like Anup Oil and all the things that they advertise, right? Now,
Yeah.
none of them really work, but they still sell. What's your take on that?
Yeah.
I don't get
It's-
it either.
Just your faith. I think it's you.
I
You have
remember
faith in the shampoo.
you said Anup
People
Oil,
are
right?
fair and lovely, being morally wrong and all that, and
Yeah.
ethically wrong in both ways. So what about this?
You're
None
right.
of
You're
these
right.
things are proven to
You're absolutely
work,
right.
but they are all
It is
there.
taking advantage of people, yeah, and like
So
hair growth and all that.
you know how scammy the Anup Oil stuff was, right? So again, I started losing hair really early, right?
Okay.
And so 16, 17 people were like, oh, you need to make sure your whole family is bald, take care of things. You should use Anup Oil, right? And at that time, it was something I had not heard of before. I was like, okay, fine. They had a sales guy come to my house, and like, the way he approached it was like, okay, make sure that you take the oil, take a small amount, rub it in your hands, and really quickly rub it in your hair, because otherwise, because
Oh,
it's on your
hand,
hands, you'll start
no.
growing hair on your hands. On your palms.
Wow.
That's how scammy they
Wow.
were back
Can
then.
you
man.
imagine these hairy handed
Yes.
Anup Oil users? God damn. Yeah.
That's like exactly like taking Viagra and finding the nose growing longer. I mean,
Yeah, that's like the movie Teen
so
Wolf.
hard.
That's like the movie Teen Wolf. Where the guy just starts growing a lot of hair and becomes really good at basketball. That's a movie.
Oh yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, it's quite
the
good.
Michael
Jason
J.
Bateman.
Fox one.
Michael J. Fox one and the Jason Bateman one. The
There
second
are
one.
two ones, and then
Yeah.
there's now a TV show which is now like
Oh, is it really?
dark.
Oh,
So he's like a dark Teen Wolf now.
Oh yeah.
Like what they've done with Archie's. Why do they keep doing that?
I
Making
don't know.
great
But-
shows, family watch and all that. Suddenly they can do this dark, sinister shows.
Yeah, like apparently Archie, I remember hearing about this when it
Everybody-
came out. It became it was Miss Grundy apparently is like doing it with Archie.
Oh no! I mean,
Yeah.
oh no!
Yeah, which I was like, wait, what the fuck is
What?
that? How is that happening?
Wow.
That's just bizarre.
Zoya Akhtar is making an Archie's movie.
No, but she's
or
making
something.
an
Already made
Archie's
it.
movie, which is like
Yeah.
an Archie comic
Archie comic
kind of
adaptation,
movie,
yeah.
right? It's not this. I hope it's
Yeah.
not this.
I told you I auditioned for Pop Date. I told you all about that.
Oh yeah, you
Online,
did. Correct.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
you talked about
Oh,
it.
you
Yeah.
did know
Yeah.
what? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I did, but I do it online, like an online audition. Yeah,
Okay.
and of course it was the worst audition. I hate auditions. I also hate auditions when they tell you what to do. When they do that, I
Yeah.
just can't. I get irritated.
Yeah.
I don't understand the point of that.
We can
can you
tell by
try
the
to
lack of
say-
preparation.
No, lack of preparation. You interpret it your way and you go for it, right? I mean, they
Yeah.
should be telling you what to do. I just find that a bit odd. But in a slightly patronizing way, they talk to you, the casting person, whatever, and trying to be nice, of course. But at the end of the day, it just beats the purpose, as far as I'm concerned. Secondly, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I don't think I look like Pop Date.
Well, you'd have to shave your head,
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of a Hitler mustache.
I would have cast more Kunal in that, like that kind of look.
That
You know,
makes
get
sense,
someone-
actually.
He has to be a little portly and
Yeah.
whatever. Let's ask Silverie as a neutral since we are older. Silverie, what kind of guy would you? Who fits for Pop Dates?
I think
Naturally,
Amit would be a
yeah,
Amit would be a better fit for Pop Dates, I think, right?
Amit would be spot on actually.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Amit can't act for shit.
He doesn't like
Ah,
acting,
well.
and neither do I.
That has never stopped someone from becoming an actor, Amit. What are you talking about?
Some of the best, some of the very
Yes,
best.
some of the best. Yeah. All right. Last topic of the day. We have a wedding that took place in Hasanpur, Amroha, in Amroha district. of Uttar
It
Pradesh.
had to happen, Amit. It had to happen. A Silverie geography moment. It had to
Of
happen.
course, of course. Now I say
Never heard of them
make an
before.
extra point.
He has no
I
idea
highlight-
how far he's gone today.
Yes, exactly.
The way he said it.
Now I highlight the locations. I start like my topics. Okay, this is the location. Now the topic. So this is Hasanpur
Say the locations
city
again.
in Hasanpur city in Amroha district of Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so
course.
3 locations. Yeah, I give you just 3
Where
locations.
we all grew
Yeah.
up playing cricket. Yes, go on.
Correct. So guests at a wedding had to show Aadhar card to get entry and to be able to eat food.
It's a
at the wedding.
BJP state. That's all
Yeah,
I got to say.
It is. But that's not why it happened. What happened was, so on the 21st of September, there was a Bharat that was supposed to show up at this wedding location, okay? But instead, 2 Bharats showed up just by happenstance. And the Bharatis of the other Bharat started breaking into this Bharat to get the food. Okay. So they started panicking. The bride side started getting worried, like, oh shit, we don't have enough food. So like, oh, how do we curtail now
Wow.
the entry of people? Because I guess they couldn't just ask for a wedding card. I don't know why they didn't do that. But they were like,
Who carries a
Aadhar
wedding
card. That's also true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe on the phone or something. I don't know. But anyway, so they were like, okay, Aadhar card se we'll restrict. So only people who have an Aadhar card can come in and others can't. Because they had
Why
already
don't they-
crossed
But
the
how,
limit of
but
the
how
people,
is that
number of people.
the definition of who you've invited versus
Yeah,
somebody
they
else
just want to
invited?
limit people from coming in. Because now they can't tell after a certain point.
Okay, all right.
They had
But they
already
just-
exceeded their estimate that they estimated would come.
It's
for the,
UP, right?
the
So the
wedding.
best thing to do is just put a sign up, a caption saying prime beef served here, and you should be okay. Nobody will turn up.
Yeah.
I mean, except those strange people in uniform. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, we discussed this also. We crashed so many weddings, all of us. At least Silverie,
Yeah.
you and I discussed. I don't know, Amit was on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
podcast. But, so we think we're a little more sophisticated when we crash it. Wherever you
Yeah.
are in India, a crash is a crash. It's all
That's
good.
true.
I would say, no. Honestly, if you can, just let it go. Just let the people come. What's the big
Yeah,
deal?
just crash. Who cares
Yeah.
after a certain
Yeah.
point?
You run out of food, you run out of food. What are you going to
You
do?
run-
I mean, that's
It's
how I
as
would look
simple
at
as
it.
that. The party's over. Yeah, you put this on the table, everybody comes, have a good time. If the genuine ones were late, that's their problem, I mean, now you're going to say I was late today. I
But
was
this
not.
is that extra North Indian mehman nawazi thing also. No, you
Oh.
don't want to run out of food. You want to have plenty.
Well, you
plenty for
don't, but
everyone.
your options are two, right? Run out of food or restrict entry. What do you think is where would you lie? Where would
Like
you lie?
some people can be very happy, or all the people can be unhappy, So
Yeah.
just
Well, I
make
gave you the
people
third
really
option.
happy. You'll talk
I
good
gave the
stuff.
third option of changing the food and thereby getting rid of people. But, that, why is he laughing?
I
Silverie's
don't
on
There
know.
is Spurs has just done a poll, just saying actor Amit. 83% of people have said yes.
Yeah, 83% of these
Yeah.
people have never seen me attempt to act.
Well,
I think
great voice actor though. You'll be.
No, not really.
Maybe you could pass off as the cartoon iteration of Pop Tates. It could be voiced by you. Yeah.
Pop Takes, I'm just thinking a lot of it would be orders, a lot of the lines. There was something in the audition, there was some meaningful moment between him and Betty. Something about closing the place or whatever. I shouldn't give it away. I don't know. Can't remember. So there was a little bit of emotional bit. But otherwise, a lot of it is like, what are you doing here? What do you want to eat? The lines are very, it's the same thing. 80% of the conversation, the guy taking orders and calling out food. Sunday for this table, that kind of thing. So, Amit, I think we can pull it off. Shall I call Zoya?
Yeah, absolutely. Please put in a word. For
I didn't bother trying with my text. Yeah.
All right. Let's get in some AMAs, shall we?
Okay.
Yes.
AMAs. First one comes in from Grim Fandango, who says, Amit, were you part of the team that did work on Louis Vuitton and Lama Productions? You told us about it.
I told you about this. Lawrence and Manor are great guys, but unlikely to be doing brand work.
All right.
They were film producers. They made a bunch of different movies.
Right.
This is probably different Lama Productions because I'm sure that somebody's come up with this from somewhere.
All right, cool. Shweta Baba has asked, can each of you visualize and tell us how you imagine this episode would look and sound if you were in the Volvo doing Cyrus drives? Cyrus must be driving. Okay, I imagine a lot of Cyrus shouting at people crossing the road in front of his car.
Sure.
If Puneet's on, who's on this week, it's a different story altogether because it's a documentary and it doesn't end. Okay, and it's only about the car and the service he's providing. I've never met a better seller. And he's a really charming seller. It's not like he's a boring. I'm not saying that to push the podcast, but he's charming. He's amazing. He really is that guy. He's that guy. Can you imagine what the wife and all going through? He comes home and he's like, did I tell you about the electric vehicle, which is now going to be the best taxi in India? For a whole year.
Great. Sparsh just said he imagines he'll be in the boot as usual.
Okay, one more thing. The week that Sparsh went on leave to meet the parents in Delhi, etc. So we did one episode without him. We got 3 or 4 and one is without him. Nobody volunteered to go in the booth. So Amit, as CEO of the company, please keep in mind that you have only one guy who believes in the show, who believes in what he's doing. And
we always need to have a person who's been kidnapped back in the boot.
Yeah.
How can we not?
Because he comes from Delhi, it's the safest place to travel. Maybe that's
Nobody's robbing the guy in the boot. He's already has enough problems in life, this guy in the boot. Why rob him further, right? Correct. That's what they say in Delhi.
It's a very uncomfortable place, guys. Please go and lie down in the back of that car and see. It's a very comfortable car. But he was lying without a pillow the first time.
It's a huge comfortable boot though.
I don't see how it could possibly be anything but uncomfortable, right? I mean, like, huge boot is great, great feature car, is amazing, has like the most amazing features. So amazing that we can actually fit a person in, but maybe a little uncomfortably.
Yeah, but he's very comfortable. That's what I'm saying.
But the problem with the Volvo
prefers the boot.
Silverie, the problem with Volvo is now that I got to drive it a little bit. I don't want to drive my cars. Because it's really, you should not do this. Once you get better, something is much. See, that's why I try not to spoil the kids. Don't give them better stuff, give them the second-hand stuff as much as possible. Once they get the better stuff, then a person is like, oh, I don't want to drive this car. I want to get the Japanese name because they might sponsor us one day too. But and I used to love that car, but now I miss the Volvo. It's like when you see somebody else's wife, guys, and you're like, oh, silence.
Okay. All right. Next one comes from Shavik Bag.
Where's Sparsh? Tell me he can't sit in the booth of that thought. Whatever happens. Calm down.
You can't sit on the boot. Okay, got it. Shavik Bakshi says, just got a haircut. Didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Even after giving very clear instructions, but couldn't say anything after it. How do you give constructive feedback to your barber?
Shavik, what are you complaining about? The guy I used to bring home through the pandemic because he's basically, he's like not a very established salon. So he would come in. He likes to talk during. Okay, forget before and after. So during, with every inch of cutting, he wants to have a conversation and he wants to feel more secure about his performance. I can't tell you, it drives me completely mad to interact for like 20 minutes over every cut. Sorry, Amit, this is way beyond your pay grade. I'm sorry to bring up haircuts. I'm sorry again. Don't watch it in anti-Amit. Of course, haircuts, then the balding thing, then the shampoo thing. Stop.
That's okay. As long as it's fun.
All right.
He seems good, Silverie. Shavik, no more questions from you.
Yeah. Shavik also says that every male feels vulnerable while the Adam's apple is exposed while getting a shave thanks to mafia movies. What are the other situations where you feel vulnerable without having an option?
The razor, I feel very ticklish when you use the razor. I don't know if you guys
Straight
you know,
edge. Yeah.
the electric razor, it just tickles me, the feel. So I'm always like squiggling and they all get worried. Like, you're not supposed to get cut with that in any case, but your body language scares them.
Yeah. I'm actually very scared of the actual blade razor because I feel like I get a cut and I get AIDS. I don't know why.
Well, because we actually got a lot of education about that, right? Don't reuse razor blades.
Yeah.
Make sure that when you go to a barber that they're using a fresh
one.
blade.
Yeah.
We got a lot of education.
You can get AIDS, but he has to come in your cheek after that. Okay, so make sure it all plays out before you pack. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
And please tell us who your barber is.
That's what he does every time. I'm just saying, if I have a blood open, I'll definitely get it. You know.
But you understand they're also artists in a way. Whatever, however rustic they may be and whatever the pricing is, many of them are artists. Okay, so for them, it's not just a skill; it's an art form. So when they're talking to you before, after, during, they want that feedback because they're proud of what they do. They feel they're good at it. So not everyone is just doing because there's no other job. You know. So I sometimes do feel bad because I can realize that this is an art form and there's some amount of skill involved. And some of them are really. I don't know if you guys noticed that they have a rhythm while cutting, which is the sound and the timing. Yeah, it's like it's a song, it's a beat. It's almost like how rap was invented. That's why rap was invented in barbershops back in the day.
Yeah.
By the way, fun fact.
But so there are like these very big, almost historical barbershops in townside, right? In South Bombay, like there's one at Kemp's Corner.
Precious.
There's one at Kemp's Corner.
Precious.
Is that Precious?
That's historic.
Isn't it? Like that's been going on for so many years. It's
don't do that. Don't do that. All of us grew up on Precious. That's three generations.
I know. It feels like I went there. I went there all the time. It's where I cut my hair for until I had it. Yeah, exactly.
Some of the richest people in India have all cut at Precious at some point in their life.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
But I wouldn't have thought of it as historic, right? In that sense, I guess it is.
Yeah, I would imagine like it's been around for ages, right?
It has. It was old when I went there, and I went there starting in 1980.
Yeah.
And they have two branches. So Monday is open on the side which is near the church.
Yeah. They have the second one, right? That's right. I forgot. Barbershops are shut on Mondays and open on Sundays. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because people have.
Kolkata is shut for 4 days for Durga Puja. Just for the record.
Okay, thanks, Cyrus. So guys, don't go on Durga Puja because
you can. You just can't go and draw money from a bank and things like that. Okay.
All right. Ariful Islam has asked, at Amit, which episode do you like most? Chaotic like yesterday's or structured like today's?
False choice, man. I mean, both things have their own kind of this, right? I like.
Yesterday was a hilarious episode.
It was Ayushi and Shriram. Okay.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell who was who by the end. Ayushi had become a complete juvenile towards the end.
Shriram also opened his hair outward, like it fell out.
But I think it. I think that there are pluses and minuses to all of it. Chaos is fun sometimes, and this is fun. I like The Godfather also, and I like Screwballs also, right? I mean, you can like all things.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
where somebody says something wrong and feels bad and gets upset and all that. But you don't have too many of those. Where there's a fight, like Kajal and one male comic got into a spat, and then you could have a whole drama out of it. But sadly, it ended. We've got to get more of those.
We have a request. We have a kind request from Jayesh Goswami for Amit, who said, Amit, can you do a dialogue from the movie Godfather since you topped the poll on acting? We need this, Amit, please.
Okay. I believe in America. That's the first line, no?
Yeah,
I believe in America.
That's spot on, because now that poll should go up on Amit's acting.
Hey, that sounds vulgar. Don't say that, please.
Okay, sorry. All right. AA, I said, I met Amit Doshi after the Veer Das show. Hit different. podcast में height पता नहीं चलती of the creator.
Oh yeah, I remember meeting. It was kind of cool. I was with people who were way more famous than me, and I was the one recognized. That was awesome.
That is great. Wow.
One check. How dare you go to competitive product shows, Amit? I mean, that's like someone in the PSL.
Yeah, you're friends with other comedians other than Cyrus. How dare you?
I'm not friends with him. I paid him lots of money.
Okay.
Lots of money. Cyrus gives me his tickets for free. I paid this guy lots of money.
Well, Cyrus, he's selling tickets to your shows and buying Veerdas tickets.
Not only that, and Veerdas still won't come on a podcast. Can you imagine? That's so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that we've done a concerted effort to get him on. We should really kind of push that. I'll push on that.
How was the show?
It was really funny. I would highly recommend to anybody who wants to. It was very reactive in some ways to all the controversy that he went through over the last year with the two Indias kind of stuff. And I thought it was hilarious. It was really, really good.
All right. Wow. Go check out Veerdas' show. Yep. We really want him on this podcast. Sharda Datta has asked, do you guys have a TV show you keep going back to whenever you're feeling low? Something you'll have watched more than a dozen times, recommendations, etc.
I have a single answer for this.
Law
Parks
and
and
Order.
Recreation.
Oh, Parks and Rec. I thought Law and Order.
No. He's when you're feeling low and when you want to kind of chill,
okay,
right? Yeah. That's Parks
for
and
me.
Rec.
All-time favorite. Number 1 is Blackadder. Number 2 is Seinfeld. That never changes.
Oh, nice. Mine is Always Sunny, and I watched a lot of Curb. But I'm recently watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I'm really enjoying it.
I love that show too.
Yeah.
I also like
it's all Parks, same creator as my show.
So I like Parks, I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I like The Good Life.
Good Place.
Good Place.
Yeah.
I do not like The Office that
You
much.
don't
I've
like
tried The Office now 3 times.
Okay.
The Hindi version is funnier.
Okay.
Okay, plus.
Just like the Hindi version of Hello Friends is funny.
There was no need to go there. First he praises Veerdas.
You wanted it to go there, which is why you brought it up. You know you wanted it to
How
go
could you?
there.
Somebody say something nice.
You can't be good, be really bad. You know, that's what they say.
Yeah. Arpit Bansal has asked, how many times have you crashed a party and any time you have been kicked out? Not kicked out, but crashed many times. Cyrus?
I can't remember being kicked out. You have been kicked out for drinking and all that, fighting and all that. But when you crash parties, generally nobody really kicks you out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens. Everybody crash parties. We always take extras with us and all that. So in that sense, I don't remember being pushed out, but I do remember being pushed out of a car. Home by somebody who was
what?
Like I won't drop you home. Because I was quite drunk.
And pushed you off a moving car.
Asked me to get out of the car.
Okay, that way, yeah. That's
I'm imagining like that mafia scene where they push you out of the car, the guy comes rolling out, and then
just
wipes his clothes and
just
goes
home. I want to drop him home, and that's it. And the other two guys are like, no, please, we're always doing the same thing and all, whatever. He said, no, I don't like him, whatever. That's it. And then I was suddenly on the road because the other two guys said we are resting in the car. Nobody was fighting. They were like our panelists, each one for himself.
That is interesting.
What about you, Amit? Have you been thrown out?
I don't think I've been thrown out, and also I don't feel like I don't think I've ever really like crashed a party which I was uninvited to. In the sense that, no, I've crashed stranger parties. I'll never crash a party of somebody where there are a bunch of people who I know, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm like
completely unknown,
and a couple of my friends are going, and I have no idea who's hosting it, I'll crash that kind of thing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen bar fights in the US? Like a lot of bar fights in the US?
Yeah, I've seen many bar fights in India.
What? I've never seen a bar fight, man.
But you guys are comedians.
Yeah, sorry.
You bring love. Nobody fights. I've been to so many places where people are fighting and bottles being broken and proper fist fights and the works.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you haven't drunk enough, Silverie. You do the other thing.
Yeah.
Drinking all the fighting, not so much the other thing.
Yeah.
More of a mellow guy.
You all sing hymns and stuff, right?
No, also, I think there's a difference in, and I don't know how accurate this is. I'm just making a kind of like very large extrapolation. But when I hear the kind of things that you or Abbas or any of the younger people in the office are doing, you don't go drinking for the sake of going drinking. You go to do something and you're drinking at the same time. We used to go drinking to drink.
Yeah,
and when you're drinking,
that has become less. For sure, I would say.
Huh?
That has become less.
Yeah, and when you're drinking and drinking to drink kind of is the kind of atmosphere where these kinds of fights and stuff like that can happen more often.
Okay.
Also, keep in mind, with the drinking comes that too many guys, no girls, so testosterone out of control. You have no female company, you're irritated with the guys you do. It almost always comes from there. and then your looks are exchanged. It's almost like small and petty, mostly.
What about like stadium fights? Like maybe you're like watching a live basketball match.
Well, I've never seen I mean, like I've seen them on television. I mean, like there's
of course,
there's this documentary on Netflix which is supposed to be good. I haven't seen it yet about the palace and the Malice in the Palace. There was a big so what had happened was some people from the stands threw like beer on some players. Players went nuts, went into the stand and started wailing on people.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think I know this.
People got hurt. And it was crazy. It was insane. So,
wow. Cyrus, have you seen like live cricket ka kuch fight and all?
Lots of fights, but I can't think of anything that was really bad. But lots of pulling hair and pulling shirts. Because in India we have two types of fights. There's a lot of the shosha fighting, posturing, and then there's actual fighting which happens. So I can't remember actual fighting, but yeah, lots of that. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of hold me back stuff going on.
Pakkad, mujhko pakkad, haath pakkad, Maira.
No, and also the graph. Now, first the gali is just on yourself, then it goes in tera baap, teri maa, all that.
Yeah, my favorite excuse is तू मेरी बाप की उम्र का है इसलिए तेरे पे हाथ नहीं उठा रहा. That's my favorite excuse.
You're running out of that.
Like, what a great like cop out.
Be careful. Yeah.
What if the guy says, "Acha, what's your dad's age?" Oh, 62. I'm only 50, and then hits you. Calling you too old.
That's not the typical dialogue.
Yeah. Rishi Shah says, "Have you all ever worked with actors who insisted on method acting? Is it annoying as it sounds to interact with them? Is it as annoying as it sounds to interact with them?"
Yeah, but more method acting basically is a state character also and on impulse.
Oh wow, Arjun Rampal is a method actor, Cyrus. Sorry, I'm joking. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I did that. Sorry.
He's a state character actually. I'm trying to think. But in plays we have people who take themselves very seriously. It can be irritating also because they want to stay like that all day and night.
So apparently Dustin Hoffman was a nightmare to work with for that reason, right? That
especially for young girls.
Yeah. Well, okay, I don't know where that came from, but basically his
He's a Me Too specialist. Dustin was taken down.
Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah, he was taken down.
Dustin Hoffman is one of the
there were a couple of reports, but he denied all of them, and I think he still.
Nobody came out after that.
Yeah. No, is he? What? I thought he still was.
I completely missed it. I had no idea.
I know something did happen. Yeah.
But
also, like, talking method acting, Jim Carrey did that movie Man on the Moon. And during that, apparently, he was a nightmare also because he was trying to enact Andy Kaufman.
So did this guy, not Joaquin Phoenix, did that whole...
For the Joker?
No. He did a whole, like, I'm taking a year off and, like, basically turned that into a movie.
And it was very low-key. And
that famous Letterman interview that he had, right?
It was all part of that.
Yeah, just during that.
It was during that.
Okay, it was during that.
See, the publicity generated, it worked. But what about Sylvester Stallone and Rambo? That's also method because nobody's ever known what Rambo really is. He was able to stay in character till today. He's still in character.
Yes. But the other side of it is where that actor, the guy who played the Joker in the Suicide Squad movie. What's his name? Jared Leto, yeah. He was like, at least there were reports that he had been using like, sending used condoms to his, to psych out his co-stars and all on the movie. Which is like the other side of it. You don't need to do that just because you're the Joker and you want to show like, oh, I'm all for crazy.
Versus Marlon Brando, and Marlon Brando will be all about getting into it and doing it totally.
No, so that was that was the Dustin Hoffman thing. I think in one of the movies, this guy is.
He tells him all you have to do is act.
Yeah. Why Dustin Hoffman stayed up for like 2 days straight so that I could? He's like, just act, dude.
Yeah, just try acting. Exactly, just try. Yeah. Okay, guys.
Last thing. Just a recommendation for us. Samir Kolpekar says expand merch to laptop stickers, please.
See if that can be done. I would like to try and do that as well. That's a great idea, actually. Yeah. Let me look into this.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Let me look into this.
Thanks, Samir.
Yeah. Also, just guys, since I'm here, I'm going to promote a couple of shows. Please go check out the IVM Pop channel now, which has been rebranded from IVM Likes. We have multiple shows coming in there. We have the show that Snehal is hosting, which used to be IVM Likes, is now called Pop Rap. Yep. Abbas has a new show on it, which is called Has This Aged Well, where he looks at movies over the last 20-25 years and see how they've aged in a socio-political kind of context. Yes?
I just want to add to that particular show because Abbas himself has aged so well. I mean, he's
like fine wine.
There is... Yeah. And oh wow, Cyrus froze.
Cyrus froze.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have a third show coming in over there, which we will announce shortly as well. And I think we've got plans for 4 and 5 there too. Yeah. So do check out the IVM Pop channel. You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on all the other podcasting apps. The other thing I'd like
the other announcement, Amit, you forgot to mention. either I'm going to be the fourth wheel in What the Hell Navya. Because you need
Yes.
Yes.
So that's the
News
other thing I was
announcement.
about to promote right
so
now.
exciting.
guys.
So
Yes.
exciting. Yeah.
Yes, about to promote What the Hell Navya as well. Please, guys, go check that out and check out Meghnad's new show, ELI 10. That's also a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Explain
He's
like
got a really interesting and fairly controversial topic coming out today. So please go and throw some shit at us.
And also, one more thing, if I can, it's a personal thing, but can we promote this as well? Meghnad's show, as well as Shreyas's cousin's non-show, because he didn't turn up. Nobody knows why. He didn't come to the studio. All right.
What
So
happened to Shreyas?
Shreyas,
show
what
up?
happened to Shreyas? Oh, a
haven't
few
seen
episodes
him.
back, he didn't show up or
We
something.
don't know what happened to him.
Okay.
We don't know if he's alive. Shreyas, can you get in touch with us, please?
Okay. All right.
Oh.
Apparently, he has touched base with Sparsh again and has expressed his food poisoning issues.
Yeah.
So
My God. From the restaurant that he himself owns, but I won't listen.
let's
Wow.
All right. Then.
All right.
Well, it probably was. He went somewhere else, and those people were like, "He's a fucking competitor. Let's
Yeah,
go."
let's do this. Yeah.
It must be that Veer Das's show. Must have poisoned him because he's
Man.
petty competitors.
Yeah. This is the Aadhar wedding where you have to show Aadhar card.
Yeah, you
They
know.
were like, we don't want people to eat only.
All the way to UP for
Not this
lunch.
food.
You know,
Yeah,
so,
correct.
yeah.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in. See you guys tomorrow and no, on Monday now.
On
And
Monday
bye-bye.
in the studio. In the
Yes.
studio.
Yeah.
Don't
In the
worry.
studio.
Yes, we shall not have hopefully tech problems unless I decide to join.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.